A long, long time ago, before the world knew him as Santa Claus, there was a man named Kris Kringle. He wasn't a legend yet, nor a jolly figure in red, just a man with a long beard and a cookie-filled belly as big as the northern sky. But he had a problem. He didn't know what to do with his life. One evening, Kris sat in his favorite old chair, rubbing his hands together, thinking hard. The fire crackled beside him, throwing golden flickers onto the walls. The wind outside howled through the trees, as if whispering ideas to him. But no matter how much he listened, no matter how much he thought, he just couldn't figure out what he was meant to do. "I was waiting for an idea," he muttered to himself, "and I almost missed it." He let out a deep sigh, his breath swirling into the cold air. His boots were worn, his coat a little too snug from years of good meals, and his hat flopped over one eye. Just then, a tiny knock came at his door. Kris furrowed his brow. He wasn't expecting visitors. He pulled himself out of his chair with a creak and shuffled over to the door, opening it just a crack. The wind rushed in, bringing with it a swirl of snowflakes and a shivering little boy with bright, curious eyes. "Hello there," Kris said gently. "What brings you out on a night like this?" The boy, bundled in a patched-up coat and mittens too big for his hands, looked up at him with a hopeful expression. "Mister," the boy said, his nose pink from the cold, "I heard that you're the kindest man in the village. My sister and I don't have much, but I wanted to give her something special for Christmas. Do you have anything you don't need?" Kris felt a warmth spread through his chest. He looked around his cozy home, at the little trinkets he had collected over the years. Nothing fancy, nothing grand, but enough. "Come inside," Kris said, stepping back. The boy's eyes widened as he was welcomed into the warmth. Kris rummaged through his things, finding a soft scarf, a wooden toy he had whittled long ago, and a small tin of sweet peppermint candies. He tied them up in a cloth bundle and handed them to the boy. "For your sister," he said with a wink. The boy's face lit up. "Really? This is for her?" Kris nodded. "And for you, too. Merry Christmas." The boy clutched the bundle to his chest and grinned. "Thank you, Mr. Kringle. This is the best gift ever." And just like that, he was gone, dashing back into the snow with laughter in his voice. Kris stood in the doorway, watching until the boy disappeared into the night. Something inside him shifted. It was a feeling he had never quite known before. Something bigger than himself. Giving, helping, making someone's Christmas brighter. That was it. Kris Kringle sat back down in his chair. But this time, his heart was full, his mind clear. He knew what he had to do. From that day forward, Kris Kringle dedicated himself to spreading joy, giving gifts, and making sure no child went without a Christmas surprise. The legend of Santa Claus was born that very night, in the warmth of a humble home, with nothing more than a kind heart and a small act of generosity. And so, every Christmas Eve, when the snow falls just right and the air smells like pine and peppermint, if you listen closely, you might hear the echo of Kris Kringle's very first Christmas wish. Let there be joy for every child.